Hello and welcome to the Manifestation Mastery course. And today I'm going to be talking to you about a very rarely taught and unknown mind hack that will allow you to achieve tremendous success in your life and happiness, as well as give you the power to overcome your enemies, whoever they are. So, uh, in this video, I'm going to try and explain to you what this mind hack is. And then in another video, which I will direct you to, I'm going to give you specific techniques that you can use to actually engage in this mind hack, to gain success and gain victory over your enemies. So we first need to understand something before we go any further. Now, you've heard me say it before, I'll say it again. Everything in your external world, everything around you is you. Everything. And especially the people. The people in your life reflect a part of you. So it doesn't serve to to feel like a victim, because that assumption that you are this little being in this huge universe, and this huge powerful universe is doing things to you, that is, listen, that's a recipe for disaster. And this is why in everything that I teach, the first thing I do is I teach you about assumptions. Assumptions are beliefs that you have about yourself in the universe. If you believe that the universe is over there, that there are things outside of you, that there are beings and institutions and things that can do things to you, you will always be a slave. You will be a slave to them. I made a video a long time ago about removing the chakras, and I said don't remove the chakras before watching this video, and I basically go into the explanation that the idea that some beings outside of you can implant things in you to control you is an assumption that you are this tiny being and you are a victim, and that there are beings out there more powerful than you that can do things to you even before you were born and after your death. What a horrible way to live. That assumption will only cause you poverty, misery, anger, fear, depression. So you got to drop all that. I want you to completely flip that on its head. If there are alien beings out there that have implanted you with chakras that they can control you, guess who made that happen? You did. That's the question. Why would you do that to yourself? But we do. We create everything in our universe, and all of the people in our universe are our creation. Now, we've got a lot of good things going on in the world. I mean, this chair is holding me up. The lights are working. I mean, there's always positive things happening. You are continuously creating positive things that are working for you. In fact, you create more positive than you do negative. But if you can understand that the challenging circumstances in your life, and especially the challenging people in your life, are your greatest resource for knowledge. They are teaching you. They are teaching you how to succeed. So you first must understand that. And I don't care how difficult it is. And I'm not trying to minimize it. I really am not. You may be in a really difficult situation with a really toxic, horrible, abusive person or people. That may be true. And I'm not trying to make that, that if you can just decide, then all of a sudden, that's going to change. I mean, if that does, I'm happy for you. And in some cases, that can be the case. But it starts with the understanding that those people are you. They are facets of parts of you that you are fighting within yourself. And it's happening on an unconscious level. So things become projected into your world from the unconscious mind. There are three minds: your conscious, your subconscious, which is in between the conscious, and the unconscious. Most people, when they say subconscious, it really drives me crazy. They mean unconscious. They don't know there are three minds. But that third mind, the one that you're not aware of, that's the one that's making all of the decisions, that's manifesting everything in your universe. So, especially the challenging ones, the challenging people, the challenging circumstances, that is your creation from your unconscious. That is a battle that's going on within you. And if you can make peace within yourself and learn to find balance within yourself, those people will either change or disappear. And I have some examples to share with you. But what I want you to understand is that the people in your life that are causing you the most problems, they are your greatest teachers. And I mean that. I've shared, there's a person in my, immediate nuclear family that I grew up with that was very challenging. I mean, really, really challenging for me. And that person is my greatest teacher to this day, and I've shared about that in other videos. But I want to share with you some other things. Now, from early on in my adulthood, I became involved in some very powerful esoteric spiritual practices. And I had a couple of extremely powerful teachers. And these men had so much power that they could change the fabric of reality. If you wouldn't believe me if I told you some of the things these guys could do. When I was training in my late 20s, and I was living a monk. I was celibate for 6.5 years, and I was training for hours a day, sometimes 4 hours a day. I was deep into this, practicing these energy techniques and these very deep meditative energetic practices. And there was a point where I had to be careful because I had to be careful who I touched. It wasn't like it would happen all the time. It was just, every now and then I had to be careful. I might touch somebody and something could happen. I remember once I very innocently, touched a woman that I was talking with, and she fell to the floor and started crying and had this big energetic experience, and it was very overwhelming for her. So much so that when she came out of it, she was so frightened. She said, "What did you do?" And I said, "I don't know." And then she told me what had happened. She felt all this energy coming to her, and these emotions were released. And from then on, she didn't treat me like a normal person, and she would call me the Buddha. And I'm not the Buddha. I'm just a normal person. I had a lot of energy. That's it. My teachers were like that. They had a huge amount of energy. And I was under the illusion that if I could just get that kind of energy, then I would achieve enlightenment and immortality and all kinds of other things. But they were extremely good teachers because they were very emotionally dysfunctional. They were very unhappy, and they were very challenging to be around. Their egos were so bent out of shape, and they were very challenging to be students with after a while. Relationships sometimes when they first start are really great, and then after a while you find out who the hell you're really with. Well, teachers can be that way too, and these guys were like that. And what ended up happening was that it became so challenging for me to work with my teacher because his psychological issues were so out there that, it was very, very traumatic and very toxic. And it got to the point where I remember thinking, I just wish he would go away. Now, I didn't say that, and I wouldn't have said that to him because, as a student, I am the traditional kind of student. I really listen to my teacher, and I'm very faithful, and I'm very obedient, and I'm very respectful. And I don't believe that, if you have a teacher like that, that's a life, that's for life. You find that kind of teacher, that's for life. And that was my intention. And so I did everything in my power to never give him that disrespect. And it was not my intention to ever leave being connected to him. Even if I had achieved whatever immortality, I still would have seen him as my teacher and I would have respected him that way. But it became so challenging, I just said, I remember saying, I just wish he would go away. I don't know how to deal with him anymore. Now, the question that I was constantly asking myself was, is there something more I can learn from him? And when it got to the point that I was honestly saying, there really isn't anything more he can teach me. I've learned everything he can give me. I'm not at his level yet because I haven't practiced to the same degree he has, but there's really nothing more he can teach me. And then I started thinking about, I wonder if I should still be a student. But I still had this feeling of loyalty and commitment, and I just, if I become a student, there's such a traditional part of me, I can't walk away from that. But I remember saying out loud to the universe, I wish he would just go away. It's exactly what happened. He went away. And I won't get into it, but there was something that I did that he had given me permission to do. I went through all the proper channels and I started teaching something, and he got so intimidated that he just broke off all contact and didn't say anything. And it took me weeks to realize, oh my gosh, he's broken off contact with me. Tried calling him and messaging him, nothing. I was free. He had freed me. I had all of his knowledge, and now I was free. But his greatest gift to me was that not only did he teach me all the things I needed to know in order to, learn the energy techniques and the meditative techniques to connect to the universe and to gain power and to get all that good stuff. His most valuable teaching was his mistakes. And he made a lot of mistakes, and so did his teacher. And I experienced his teacher, and so I know how he'd learned a lot of things. His teacher was also very toxic, much more so. He was really powerful, but he was also his ego was really bent out of shape. And so after being released from being underneath these two guys, I started to go over all of the ways that they were helpful and the ways that they weren't helpful. And the ways that they weren't helpful were the best teaching I've ever had, because now as a teacher myself, I know what not to do. I know what to look out for in myself so that I don't do that to my students. So the people in your life that are causing you all of the worst problems are your greatest teachers. When you're in the middle of it, it's very hard to see that. So I want you to grasp onto the idea that everything in your reality is your own projection within yourself. And if you can first take complete ownership of everything in your life and all of the people in your life, and say, I created these people, I attracted these people, they represent problems within me. My fight with this person is a fight that I'm having within myself. And if I can learn to balance that within myself, the problem will disappear on the outside. Same is true for having wonderful people. When you overcome challenges and you learn to truly love yourself, guess what happens? People who will truly love you start to show up in your life. So that's the main thing. I want you to see again specifically that everything in your world is your creation, including the most challenging, no matter how challenging or toxic or abusive somebody is. That is something within you. And when you can take responsibility for that, that will start a chain reaction. It's not easy. It takes a lot of effort and a lot of discipline, and sometimes it takes some time. But I'll share with you in the next video, I'll share with you some techniques that I learned after years and years of dealing with my challenges that you can employ now. So perhaps you can shave off years of challenging stuff when I teach you these specific techniques. Okay, so for that, to watch that video, I need you to go to thunderwizard.com. You see a bunch of links up here, and they all have thunderwizard.com at the end. That's where I want you to go. I want you to go to thunderwizard.com, and I want you to go on the right hand side of the page where it says Manifestation Mastery Course. You're going to subscribe to that course. Now we've got, I believe, 47, actually, twice that. What's 47 times 2? That's 80, 94. So there's 94 videos in this video series if you count the A series and the B series. So there's 2 videos for each one of these. This is the A. You're going to go to thunderwizard.com and you're going to scroll down and you're going to subscribe to the Manifestation Mastery Course. And you're going to have access to not only those 94 videos, both on the free and on the subscribe channel, but you're going to have access to hundreds of other videos in a mastery of shamanism. So go there and check it out. So click on Manifestation Mastery Course. I'll see you there, and I'm going to share you the specific things that I've learned over years and years of dealing with toxic people that once you learn how to employ it, it will completely change the scenario. Okay? So I'll see you over there.